Let's stay in the NFC and move over to the Eagles. Don Drakey asked, is Philly better off with Saquon Barkley over Patrick Queen? Very similar deals. I feel Queen would have been better for the Eagles.
It's a close one. I mean, here's the thing. Patrick Queen last year was awesome, right? But that was the first year you say awesome. Right?
Yeah, the green light really turned on out of nowhere.
I've got to think, the contract being a free agent, and then I would think a year under Roquan Smith.
I was going to ask, what does that affect playing next to a guy like that?
Yeah.
Because this happens across the league. We saw it with Quincy Williams, was cut by Jacksonville. He played next to C.J. Mosley, and he became an all-pro.
You start to learn little nuances. You start to go, wait, I'm every bit as physically good as this guy. He just thinks a little differently than me. He might not chase, the rabbit all the time, right? He's a little more disciplined, and he's doing this to take care of his body. Oh gosh, man, Roquan, you're going in there to watch film right now to check out O-line stands to see who's pulling, who's not, see if we can get. Okay, I'll do that. I would think that's more or less that what happened. He got a real pro around him that showed him like, hey, this is the way it's done here. Right? Let alone the competition of like, wait, this guy's good, but I could do that too. And I think it raised his game, right? So it's a good question. I think, I saw this question before we started the pod, and I was kind of trying to think about it a little bit. Saquon gives you a lot of bang for your buck right now. Okay, let's just say that right off the bat. He's going to put defenses in a bind. I mean, with those two receivers, the best offensive line in football, Jalen Hurts' ability to run, and now Saquon in space is scary, right? I mean, Saquon's the closest thing we've seen to Barry Sanders in open space since Barry Sanders retired. And this will be the first time he's in an offense that actually can create space for him. So that's where I do like that, right? And I still think he's a home run hitter, right, as far as explosive playmaker who can score touchdowns from about anywhere on the football field, right? They need a linebacker.
They do.
Right? But at the same time, they got a lot of defensive guys that are studs. How much money are they going to put there? I guess that's what I look at. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter.
Paid Bryce Huff big money.
Bryce Huff,
big
Nolan
money.
Smith. Sweat's being paid pretty good. Hassan Reddick's being paid pretty good. Now, one of them is going to be traded, I expect.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
You just get Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. You drafted Nakobe Dean, right, in the second round. I think they just decided to go, hey, let's not play the big money for that position. We got other positions on defense we got to pay and with some other needs here. And we feel like Zach Bond's a pretty good player from the Saints who can help us out in that position. Maybe they think there's another guy as far as, on their roster that's developing. But I would think they're going to go Bond and Nakobe Dean and go from there.
And I'll say this, Chris. In this draft, there's no Saquon Barkley. There are plenty of day two. It's not a great linebacker class, but there are plenty of day two run and chase guys that I think can make up that gap they wanted in Patrick Queen. There's Edgerrin Cooper from Texas A&M. There's Peyton Wilson from NC State.
Right.
I mean, Junior Colson from Michigan. And I know every Eagles fan's like, we don't draft linebacker early. You don't have to.
No.
Look at the best linebackers in football right now. They're not taking in the first
round. Fourth round picks for the most part.
Right.
Exactly.
So I think that was the thinking here when you go into free agency. What can we get in the draft? What can't we get in the draft? And something they did get in free agency, Bird Gang Biss is pretty happy about. Maybe a little late, but Santa delivers like a C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Big hit on the edge. Welcome back, C.J. GJ. Bring that swag back to the Eagles defense. Fly, Eagles, fly.
They're killing it. It kills me as a Giants fan, but I mean, I give respect where respect is due. The
Eagles,
Eagles,
2 steps ahead.
They are killing it. Howie Roseman is killing it. He got a few extra assets a few years ago, and he's never relinquished them, and they just feel like they have a never-ending supply of assets now. I mean, it's incredible. Made a few trades in the draft, and all of a sudden it's just like they're so ahead of the game. They got so many players, they can't even keep them all. Just like we're talking about. But everybody in football is looking for a better pass rusher right now. They're like, hey, we got a yard sale over here. You want Josh Sweat? You want Hassan Reddick? Hey, who wants him? Hey, highest bidder. I mean, it's incredible, right? And they'll probably keep the one that's left over. And now you got Nolan Smith, Bryce Huff, Brandon Graham, and whoever's left over. And you go, okay, our 4 defense ends, we're good. There we go. That ends that story. I mean, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, I know this from people in Philly. They felt like they missed him last year. I told Florio this morning. They missed him, his attitude, the swag.
The energy is totally different.
Right. The psycho-ness and what he brings to the defense, the physicality, the no-nonsense. He's the attitude setter. I think they felt like they missed that last year. And then all the other moves are incredible, too. I mean, Bryce Huff, come on. For $17 million a year, I think is a steal. And Bryce Huff, when I studied free agents last weekend and tried to look at like a lot of the top-tier ones, right, he was the one I came away with going, he's better than I even thought he was. Like, I knew he was a special pass rusher, but he's great at everything. He got politically pushed out of town because of 2 first rounds they picked, right? And they should have signed him up last year for lower money and kept him and not worried about drafting another defensive end.
They blew it.
Yeah, they blew that.
That was absolute, malpractice, basically. Just awful job by Joe Douglas.
I just... The physicality of the player is better than I guess I expected during the year.
He's developed. He's not just speed off the edge. He has moves. It's funny too because
takes on blockers.
He kicked the shit out of the Eagles.
Yes,
when the Jets beat them.
Definitely.
And the Eagles. That's probably when they were like, this guy's going to be a free agent.
That was the game, right? Of Lane Johnson, I think, missed, right?
He was out.
He tore the shit out of whoever that was.
Was it Jack Driscoll?
It might have been Jack Driscoll. I mean, he whooped the shit out of him. Destroyed him.
Yeah,
I'm sure that was part of it, for sure. Let alone they have a very special eye for talent there. But the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Saquon, Devontae Parker, and adding him to the wide receiver room as a 3rd or 4th receiver is incredible. And then getting Landon Dickerson done. Landon Dickerson was my 2nd-team All-Pro pick this year. I think he is absolutely a killer. He is in that combo with Linderbaum down in Atlanta as one of the best guards in football right now. So to get that done too and get out in front of it, because like next year he's going to ask for $25 million a year, or that price is going to go that was another brilliant move by the Eagles.
This is an Eagles team that has 3 picks in the top 60. And 4 picks in the top 100 in total. So it's not even like they're going into free agency we have to spend because we have no draft capital. They have all the draft capital again as well. They are set up really nicely.
Yeah. Yo, homies, what's up? I know it's the offseason, but it's never the offseason on Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Me and Ahmed Fareed are going to be here for it all. We got free agency. We're going to break it all down. The draft, the rankings of positions. Of course, we're going to unpack it all. Hit subscribe, get to my free agency reactions, 2024 draft rankings, and more. Thanks again for watching. Peace out, homies. See you soon.